They taught you humility. They taught you sacrifice. They taught you to put yourself last. They lied. There's a pattern hidden in plain sight, one that separates those who build wealth from those who stay broke. And it has nothing to do with how much you earn. It's about what you do with your most valuable resource before anyone else gets their hands on it. Warren Buffett saw it. Robert Kiyosaki decoded it. Neuroscience confirms it. Tonight, you'll understand why poverty isn't just a bank balance. It's a daily decision you don't even know you're making. Robert Kiyosaki introduced a concept that changed millions of lives. Pay yourself first. Most people think this is about money, putting 10% in savings before paying bills. That's part of it. But that's not where the real wealth transfer happens. The real theft occurs every single morning. You wake up, your brain is fresh, your willpower is at maximum capacity, your cognitive engine is running at peak performance. This is your prime asset, your most expensive, non-renewable resource. And what do you do with it? You check your email, you scroll the news, you respond to messages, you jump into someone else's emergency. You attend a morning meeting about a project that doesn't move your life forward. You spend your best hours solving other people's problems. By the time you get to your own goals, by the time you sit down to work on that business idea, that skill you're building, that project that could actually change your trajectory, you're running on fumes. You're operating on leftovers. That's the pattern. That's the trap. Andrew Huberman, one of the world's leading neuroscientists, confirmed what high performers have known for decades. Your brain has a circadian rhythm for focus. Peak cognitive performance happens in the first 0 to 3 hours after waking. Not at night, not after 8 hours of reactive work. In the morning, your prefrontal cortex is sharpest, your dopamine baseline is highest. Your capacity for deep work, strategic thinking, and creative problem-solving is at its maximum. If you invest this time into routine reactive tasks, you're not just wasting hours, you're robbing your future self. You're taking your most valuable asset and selling it cheap to a system that doesn't care about your freedom. Think about it. Who benefits when you give your best energy to low-value work? Not you. The rule is simple. Morning belongs to priorities. Evening belongs to everything else. Your most important project gets done first, before the inbox, before the meetings, before the world makes its demands. Because once the world gets in, it doesn't let go. Here's where most people fail. They think they'll get to their goals eventually. They think discipline means grinding harder at night. They think exhaustion is a badge of honor, but exhaustion is just inefficiency. If you're too tired to work on what matters, you didn't plan your day. You let your day plan you. Warren Buffett once said, something that sounds simple, but most people completely miss. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Let that sit for a second. It's not about working more, it's about protecting your bandwidth. Low income is correlated with one thing more than talent, more than education, more than opportunity. Availability. Being available 24/7. Responding immediately. Being the person everyone can rely on. Being helpful, agreeable, accessible. Sounds noble, right? Sounds like a good person. But here's the reality. If everyone can access you at any time, your time has no value. If you're always reactive, you never become proactive. If you're always solving other people's urgency, you never build your own leverage. High earners have boundaries. Hard boundaries. They're not rude, they're not selfish. They're strategic. They understand that being convenient for everyone makes you valuable to no one, least of all yourself. You don't need to be available. You need to be effective. And effectiveness requires focus. Focus requires time. Time requires saying no. Not maybe. Not later. No. Herbert Simon won a Nobel Prize in economics for something most people have never heard of: the attention economy. This was decades before social media, before infinite scroll, before notifications every 3 minutes. He understood that attention is the scarcest resource in modern life, more scarce than money, more scarce than time. Because you can make more money. You can optimize time, but you can't manufacture attention. Once it's gone, it's gone. Every notification is a transaction. Every interruption is a withdrawal. Every moment spent on someone else's agenda is a moment you can't spend on yours. Wealthy people treat attention like capital. They invest it. They allocate it strategically. They guard it ruthlessly. Poor people give it away for free. To apps. To people who don't respect it. To systems designed to extract it. You think you're being productive by multitasking. You're not. You're being drained. Simon's research showed that in an information-rich world, attention becomes the bottleneck. The person who controls their attention controls their outcomes. The person who doesn't becomes a resource for someone else's system. You're either directing your focus or someone else is. Here's the uncomfortable part. The part nobody wants to hear. Wealth isn't just a number in your bank account. Wealth is the ability to prioritize your own needs without guilt, without apology, without feeling like you're being selfish. Most people can't do this. They've been conditioned to believe that putting themselves first is wrong, that self-care is indulgent, that ambition is greedy. So they give their best energy to their employer, their best hours to their inbox, their best focus to distractions, and they wonder why they're stuck. The system doesn't want you to understand this. Because if you did, you'd stop feeding it. You'd stop giving your prime resource to low-return activities. You'd stop working on someone else's dream and start building your own. The wealthiest people on the planet follow one rule. Fill your own cup first. Then, and only then, do you pour from the overflow, not the other way around. If you wake up and immediately start serving external demands, you're living on the leftover principle. You're running a deficit model. You're giving away your best and keeping your worst. That's not humility. That's self-sabotage. Poverty begins the moment you accept that your needs come second, that your goals can wait, that everyone else's urgency is more important than your future. Wealth begins the moment you reverse that, when you take your first hour and invest it in yourself, when you protect your attention like it's worth $1 million, because it is, when you say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones, when you stop being available to everyone and start being valuable to the few who matter. This isn't theory. This is documented in neuroscience, in economics, in the daily routines of every person who's built something that lasts. The difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not connections. It's what you do with your first hour, every single day. You can keep living on leftovers, or you can take what's yours. The choice has always been yours. You just didn't know you were making it. Now you do.